Welcome, Leo, to the Temple of Consciousness. My name is Ava, and I'm going to be your oracle and spiritual guide for your ASTRO-TAROT forecast for October 2024. This is relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Leo. And I love the idea of combining the two greatest mystical arts ever invented, astrology and the tarot. I feel it brings us a more complete understanding of very significant and specific things that will happen for the month. Helps us to sort of travel beyond time and space into a region of likely probabilities. I prefer to track only two astrological aspects because otherwise we'd be here for hours. So I track Mars and Venus, their transits. Last month we had a lunar eclipse. I included the influence of that because that was very specific to the month. And this month we have a solar eclipse. So I'll be speaking about that too. So let's begin your forecast with the transit of Mars.
Mars, known to the ancients as the god of war, transits each house for 40 days and symbolizes aggressive, forward-moving energy, passionate energy. Which house is Mars energizing this month?
Your Mars is our Mars, all Mars, everyone's Mars, is in Cancer. And that for you, let me look at my chart here. This is the magnificent celestial dome above us, divided into 12 parts. This series of signs move around this wheel in a clockwise fashion. So here you have Leo. You can see the lion. The second house is Virgo. The third house is Libra. The fourth is Scorpio. And the fifth is Sagittarius. Cancer is all the way around at your 12th house. So your Mars is in the 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of the subconscious. This house rules those aspects of life that are connected to our deepest experiences, our most emotionally significant events. Because we often, during our life, are faced with many traumatic and difficult experiences. This is the entire purpose of our being here, is to give us this kind of training. This is Earth School. And the 12th house is the very last house. And by the time that we have traveled around the zodiac to the 12th house, we've learned a lot. And these are the lessons that are learned And Mars is an energy that activates, that stirs things up. So it's going down deep into your subconscious mind and stirring up those things that you might have forgotten or were unwilling to face, either about yourself or someone else, or it's about finding your real feelings about things outside of what people expect from you. So it's really deep soul searching. This also represents institutions, schools, hospitals, such as that, governmental institutions. So you might, because it's Mars, you might be initiating some kind of activity within those institutions, one or educational, academic, health oriented institutions, or governmental institutions. So you might simply be putting energy into these areas. So it can be a very introspective period where you face up to perhaps things that you weren't willing to face up to before. Past behaviors, perhaps, or this is about taking responsibility for your own mental health. That said, we can move on now to examine the transits of Venus. And what is Venus?
Venus, the planet of love, symbolizing pleasure, beauty, compassion, peace, wealth. Venus transits about 5 weeks in each sign. Where is your Venus this month?
Venus is in Scorpio for the first half of the month, and then it transits into Sagittarius the second half of the month, basically. So here you are again. Let me take my pointer. Leo. So we count. Leo's 1, 2, 3. Your fourth house. Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio is now occupying your fourth house. The fourth house is about your father. And maybe those deep meditations, reflections, explorations have to do with your father or with your home, what you identify as your home. Be that an ancestral home or your new home. This is also about siblings. It's about reconnecting with family heritage, lineage. Venus always brings good things, good fortune, pleasant experiences, and it brings an element of authentic love into this arena of family, particularly your siblings and or your father. And it maybe even gives you it deepens your love for your home, for your origins, for where you were spawned, from what genetic line you were spawned from. It often brings pleasant experiences in this area. Then the second half of the month, it moves out of this area into, as we said, Sagittarius, the 5th house. And this is a very pleasant thing because Venus is about pleasure. It is about love, about compassion, and about the good things in relationships and in life in general. And now it's in the house of good things, of fun, creativity, children, a love of children. Children are conceived often when we have Venus transiting the 5th house, and or the children in some way bring enormous joy, happiness, pleasure, and or you create something very beautiful, and it becomes perhaps even a psychological release for Mars in Cancer in your 12th. So the month is balanced. Though Mars remains in Cancer the entire month, it's offset now by this very gentle, pleasure-seeking energy. So, that said, let's finish up with that, with the transits of Venus, and explore the solar eclipse. And that is in Libra. Leo, 1. Virgo, 2. Libra, 3rd house. When we have an eclipse, what that is symbolically is the eclipsing away from something. Perhaps even the loss. And in this instance, since it's in the 3rd house, the 3rd house is about communication, it's about ideas, it's about thinking, and about your everyday routine. There's something that might be eclipsed out of your everyday routine. And maybe you release an entire thought pattern. Your thinking, it changes, maybe even dramatically, about something. And this is also about leaving behind unwanted communication. So not only may you be eclipsing out of a behavioral pattern, but there's also the idea of eclipsing out of an entire genre of thought, ideas, and beliefs. Changing your perspective. This can be very, this is a very healthy place to have a solar eclipse, because it really literally helps you to overcome those things that needed to be overcome in order for you to maintain the strength and vitality of the sun. And there's the sun right in the middle. That's your symbol, Leo. So all that said, that is the astrological backdrop for the Astro-Tarot reading. Now let's begin the tarot part of this forecast. The tarot and astrology are sister mystical arts. Most of the cards have a direct correlation to various astrological configurations, aspects. And it's interesting to see in these readings how they almost speak to each other, confirm one another, to help us, to guide us in the best possible way towards an understanding of what's going to happen. Forewarned is forearmed, and to sort of just glimpse into the possibilities, the probabilities that lay just ahead. So I want to thank you very much for coming to the reading. If you like the reading and find some value in it, please, it's my chai. You can buy me a chai because I'm a vegan. I don't drink coffee. But I do drink chai. And, or you can order a private and personal reading from me. There's really nothing more powerful than a genuine, honest, personal reading. Gives you great guidance and the kind of help that you can't get really practically anywhere else but from Spirit. So let's begin. In the position of, in the position of the overall mood or energy of the month, we have the Two of Swords. Let's look at it. We have a maiden who's blindfolded. It's a rather stark scene. She's seated on a concrete or a stone chair. Behind her are waters. They're not extremely turbulent, but they are a little rough. She has her two swords crossed in front of her heart. The image evokes a sense of suspended animation, being in between two possibilities, two choices, two ways to travel, to move forward. And she's blindfolded. This indicates that this important decision needs time for you to meditate and to deeply consider the pros and cons of the issue or the issues before you choose. It could mean that you simply don't have enough information, data, knowledge to make an important choice. There may be a stalemate of some sort as well. The swords across the heart means that you're not able to access heart intuitive knowledge. So you're relying on your intellect. Swords are about the mind. This is a weighing, an intellectual weighing of possibilities. Yes, no, left, right. What should I do? So there is a very important decision that needs to be made. And we have a solar eclipse, remember, in Libra, which is correlated to this card. So an important decision as to what you leave behind. What perhaps what secret, what hidden truth is not yet fully comprehended. So this is giving you trouble making your mind up. And so the month is colored by this feeling and mood. Let's go on. Now, in the position of the challenge, we have death. Well, before you get anxious or panicky, death in Tarot doesn't always, though sometimes, doesn't always refer to physical death. In the Tarot, this is about a metamorphosis, a total revolutionary change on a both a cosmic and a cellular level. It's in your challenge, because the challenge is for you to, again, maybe that eclipse, to let something go, to overcome something, to change radically, on a dime, even impulsively, suddenly, to move and to change, to let go of the old and to completely release yourself from the bondage of the past, the bondage of your own psyche, and to become that butterfly that lives within you. You are the cocoon, enfolding a butterfly within you. It's asking you to metamorphose, to be better, to be more beautiful, to be as the best you can be, and not to be afraid of the possibilities of flight, said the butterfly to the caterpillar. That is your challenge. All right. Now, to the position of the unexpected. Yay! After the dark comes the light. After the dark comes the light. After the dark, the dark references to, it could be anything like sadness, grief, disappointment, frustration, failure, in any aspect of your life. Death is what needs to precede the dawning of the light. And I predict that it's the second half of the month in which there's unexpected joy, and maybe produced from children because you have your Venus moving into your 5th house. Or maybe it's the return of the creative inspiration, energy that you needed because you've overcome something, completely faced it through the transit of Mars through into your 12th house. It was there last month. It's there all month for you to clean out the deep wells of accumulated fear and disappointment in your life. It depicts, if we look at it, it depicts a child. Pardon me. It depicts a child on a white horse. And remember, we have Venus moving into your 5th of children. Definitely, children may have a great deal to do with the pleasure, the happiness, the joy that you're going to receive. And or it is the unleashing of your own inner child. To be able to create on a higher level, you have to create from a place of innocence. And this is what's going on here. You're going to find a resurgence of health, both psychological and physical, suddenly, unexpectedly. And this is ever so wonderful news. So let's see now how this ends. Well, what do we have here? We have the 4 of Pentacles. This is Midas, the great King Midas, who loved gold so much that he turned everything he touched to gold. You have the Midas touch, and it could be about property, because you see we had the transit of the solar eclipse in Libra in your 3rd house. And also we have Venus, which is communication, which is thoughts and ideas. We have also Venus in the 4th house of home, property, homeland. And this is very reminiscent of that. The 4 pillars of the earth. 4 is about structure, about gaining financial stability, material stability, having enough material abundance to support those whom you love and to keep them close. There's a sort of clinging that Midas exhibits towards those pentacles. Those pentacles are representative of the material world, clinging to what you have, of what's yours, of what has value to you. Knowing what has value to you and keeping it. This is a very conservative energy. Conserving what you have, honoring what you have, managing what you have, and ultimately being in a place of absolute security, which is a very good thing because, again, we've got Mars transiting your 12th house, which can be a little disturbing psychologically, moving into areas of fear and forgotten memories, good or bad. And what this does is it roots you, gives you a sense of purpose, and you have the financial stability to make you feel as if all is well with the world. And that is the final thought I have about it. But I'd like for you to look at the entire reading all at once, all the cards. So let's do that now. So we have, to begin, the Two of Swords. Indecision, uncertainty, delay, stalemate, death, absolute change. Your challenge is to change on a radical level in some very important area of your life, or to face someone's death, and to understand that every death is followed by rebirth. You come out of that into the sun. And the sun is about resurrection, being reborn, revitalized, physically, emotionally, and psychically. And the Four of Pentacles at the end is about material stability and physical well-being, loving what you have and honoring it. So I want to thank you very much for coming to my reading, the forecast, and I hope that it helped in some way. And I would appreciate your support. If you can buy me a chai or partake of one of many of the readings that I offer. So I want to thank you very much, and I will see you next month. All my love.